I'm going to walk through how I would help a student debug example 2. So I've already run the program and this is the result. And so my student might say, hey, this isn't working like I expected it to. Something's wrong with the program. So the first thing I would ask the student is, well, what do you expect the program to do? Can you walk me through line by line and tell me what each thing is doing, or each line of code is doing? And so they might say something like, well, first an integer, a list array is created with these values, and then I see 2 for loops. So in the first for loop, we initialize I to 0, and so at this point I might stop them and say, okay, let's start keeping track of this because we have a few things that we need to keep track of. So let's keep track of what I starts as. So I starts as 0. We don't have anything stored right now, and then we're not printing anything yet, but we'll come back to these later on lines 31 and 32. And I've commented these out because this is an actual code. This is just us keeping track of it. And also, if the student was really having trouble with this, I might just print it out on paper and have them draw through to trace the code. So anyway, back to our first for loop. I starts at 0, and then while I is less than the array x dot length minus 1, okay, so it's going to loop through the whole array, I plus plus, so it's going to increase 1 each time. And so for each iteration of the loop, let's walk through what it does for the first iteration. So I is 0, so we're going to do x sub 0 plus 1, because remember I is 0 right now. So x sub 1, 0, 1, that's 3 right here, should be set to x sub I. So that would be the array x sub I, the value is 1. Okay, so we're saying that this second value here, which is at index 1, needs to be set to 1. Okay, so what's stored is we still have our x is still equal to, we have 1 as the first value, that was there the whole time, and then we've just changed this 3 to a 1. Okay, so we've looped through the for loop for the first iteration, then I plus plus, so now I is 1. So let's go through again because it's not, I is still less than x dot length minus 1. This will stop when we get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the length, so 5. This will stop when I is 5. So we might even say, okay, stop at 5. Okay, so back to this iteration. So x sub I plus 1, so that's 1 plus 1, x sub 2, 0, 1, 2, that's a value of 5, needs to be set to x sub I, so x sub 1, okay, and that's 0, 1. But actually, remember this value here changed, so it might be helpful to look down here at our updated array, and we can see the value is 1, so that means this 5 now becomes 1. So the new stored value is 1. And then I plus plus, so now I is 2. So hopefully at this point the student sees the pattern and sees why this 1 is getting repeated each time. And then actually this hasn't even been printed out, but at the very end, after all these values have been stored, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it's 6. Then we go down to this for loop, and I equals 0. This is a new I. While I is less than x dot length, I plus plus. So it's looping through this array now and printing them all out on the same line. And that's exactly what we get when we run the program. So again, if the student wanted to change what's printed out here, their best bet would probably be to go back and change how the array items are stored. Thanks for watching.